Joe Rogan, the meathead with a $200 million net worth, behind a $100 million Spotify deal, a Porsche tuned so hard that it scares other Porsches. He owns a Texas mansion with 8 bedrooms, vintage muscle cars, isolation tanks, katana sharp Rolexes, and a fully kitted out gym where you can throw punches or hit a bullseye from across the room with a Hoyt Defiant bow. Joe Rogan owns a custom Hoyt Defiant bow, one of the best hunting bows you can buy. Light, precise, dead silent. Price tag just for a normal one? Just under $2,000. But his is a bit more kitted out. And that's literally the cheapest thing in this video. So let's move up to something that costs millions. Now the bow is cool and all, but what if I told you Rogan's got something with a bit more oomph? We're talking about guns. Lots of them. Joe's a proud Texas transplant and a full-blown Second Amendment enthusiast. He's shown off precision builds like the TTI Pit Viper. Yeah, the same gun John Wick uses. There's also a Genesis Gen 12, a tactical 12-gauge shotgun that looks like it was built for zombie invasions. And knowing Rogan, there is probably a secret safe in his safe. Custom handguns, competition-ready rifles, maybe even something that goes boom just a little too hard for a civilian license. We don't know the full price tag, but let's just say he's praying for someone to come onto his property in the middle of the night. When you talk for a living, you need a place to shut the world out. So Joe Rogan built a custom isolation tank. Not just some plastic pod in a spa, but a top-of-the-line sensory deprivation chamber designed to help him unplug, reset, and maybe see the face of the universe. It's temperature-controlled, soundproof, lightproof, and filled with hundreds of pounds of Epsom salt to keep you effortlessly floating like a bald, jacked Buddha. Price tag? $30,000 range. Joe built an empire from behind a microphone, and that mic, it sits in a studio that looks like a cross between a sci-fi bunker and a luxury man cave. We're talking custom acoustics, top-tier audio gear, lighting, monitors everywhere, and a table that's hosted presidents, billionaires, comedians, and enough UFC fighters to get secondhand CTE. It has its own gym, kitchen, and anything else he might need at the moment. As his studio is in his million-dollar mansion, we can't give you an accurate price tag, but between the equipment, construction, and design, you're looking at least a few $100,000. Joe Rogan didn't become a jacked meathead by lifting a few dumbbells every now and then. He's a serious fitness freak, and his home gym proves it. This isn't your average garage setup with a bench and a kettlebell. Joe's gym is fully loaded, top-tier machines, weights, squat rack, you name it. There is a designated MMA zone for sparring and grappling, and even an indoor archery range because, well, why the hell not? All in, the setup costs easily over $100,000. Because when your guests include black belts and UFC champions, your gym better be more than just decorative. As any man who managed to earn hundreds of millions from comedy, cage fights, and conspiracy chats would do, Joe Rogan bought himself some serious wrist candy. And we're not talking about your average department store ticker. Joe is a Rolex guy, and not just one kind. He's got a whole lineup. First up, the Rolex Yachtmaster 40, platinum bezel, discontinued, and currently selling around the resale market for $12,000. Then there's the Submariner, around $9,000, and timeless enough to survive both deep dives and bad takes. He's also been spotted with the Rolex Deep Sea Sea Dweller James Cameron Edition, a beast built to withstand 13,000 feet of pressure. That one runs about $17,000. And then the big one, the Rolex Daytona Ref 116509, white gold case, racing-inspired red subdials, and a heavy price tag, $70,000. Joe Rogan built himself a garage that looks like a Fast and Furious fever dream. Let's start with the 2021 Ford Raptor Hennessy Velociraptor 600, with, you guessed it, 600 horsepower, and the kind of truck that makes regular Raptors look like Tonka toys. Then there's the Tesla Model S P100, an electric missile that goes from 0 to 100 within 2.3 seconds. But Joe doesn't just collect modern machines. He's got a serious soft spot for classic muscle and custom builds. Take his 1971 Ford Bronco Icon 4x4, a vintage frame reborn with a manual transmission, Fox suspension, and enough travel to make a Baja truck jealous. Then there's the 1965 Corvette Stingray, a timeless American icon with pop-up headlights and curves that scream mid-60s rebellion. And if that's not enough, he's got a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda dubbed Sick Fish, a custom built with a roaring Hemi engine pushing out 650 horsepower. And we haven't even mentioned the Sharkwerks Porsche 997 911 GT3 RS, already one of the greatest track cars ever made, until Joe had it tuned into something even more unhinged. All in all, he owns somewhere between 15 and 20 vehicles, most of them customized, all of them dangerous, cost close to $2 million and climbing. When Joe Rogan left LA, he left in style. He bought a massive 11,000 square foot mansion that looks absolutely amazing. We're talking 8 bedrooms, a library, a custom bar, a pool, a spa, a sauna, and a wine cellar that could drown a sommelier. A pool overlooking a lake, the architecture, rustic, bold, and unapologetically Texan. It's more than a house, it's a compound, a place to raise family, host a podcast empire, and possibly ride out the collapse of Western civilization. Estimated value? North of $14 million. Because if you're gonna leave Hollywood behind, you better land big in the Lone Star State. Now, with all the toy money he has, Joe Rogan must invest some of that money, right? Back in the early days, he threw his weight behind a little company called Onnit, best known for its nootropic Alpha Brain, and helped turn into a full-blown fitness empire. Supplements, gym gear, nutrition, training. Onnit became the go-to brand for meatheads who read books, and Joe was a major stakeholder. In 2021, Unilever, the global giant behind brands like Dove and Ben & Jerry's, bought Onnit. The numbers weren't public, but with Joe's ownership slice, let's just say it likely added many millions to his already ridiculous net worth. Sure, he might have started his career by telling jokes in grimy clubs, and the present is a bit different. Enter the comedy mothership, his passion project in Austin, Texas. In 2022, Rogan bought the historic Ritz Theater on 6th Street, a former movie and music venue, and transformed it into a high-octane comedy club designed to bring the world's funniest people to Austin. Cost-wise, the purchase plus major renovations to honor the venue's historic feel while tuning it for stand-up would have easily run into the multi-million-dollar range. And with Joe's name behind it, the place took off like a rocket. It is now the most valuable comedy joint in the world. And that's just a glimpse into the incredible world of Joe Rogan's lifestyle. Let us know in the comments below, if you could own anything off this list, what would it be? If you want more deep dives into the lives of your favorite celebrities and fighters, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.